Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. We are at the inside studio today because it's gray and blustery out. Actually, it's just gray. And you know, on the radar, it doesn't show any clouds. We got Goo. Got Goo standing by. If he ever wakes up. He's my partner for the morning. The morning videos, like 2:30 in the morning, he jumps up and he's up on the chair, and I don't coax him or put him up there. He just started doing that. And I guess even animals have to be responsive to God's will when God tells them to do something, right? How's everybody doing the day after Christmas? Everybody get some rest. Hopefully you didn't consume too much ETOH the last 2 days. I can't remember the last time I had a hangover, but what I can remember is whenever it was not fun. But that should be enough to keep anyone from over consuming, right? So that's green. Let me show you the colors here. Hey, that's pretty good. One changed, no one didn't. Red, blue, this is orange. The orange has got lines on it on the recording screen because of the color frequency, I guess, and that's like, it's like a sea green. Now that's pretty. That's a teal. It's blue and that's teal. And this is pink. It's actually pink. And now purple. Actually, let me go back to blue. Actually, did both those change? Yeah. Let me go back to blue. So blue looks more blue, but purple, for some reason the middle looks a little washed out. And here's yellow. So yellow's got a flashing thing to it as it's recording. Leave it at orange. No, oranges. So I'll leave it on teal. Okay. That's this one. Actually, that's got a little fluctuation to it too. Green. No, that's sea green. Interesting. The only ones that don't have lines going through it. See if I put it on fade in and fade out. I'll put it on. This is fading through all the colors. I'm going to put some pictures back there, by the way, on the wall. Hey, maybe I should hang up my poncho liner, which is the camouflage blanket looking thing, back there. And this is without the fade. This is just snapping from one color to the other. Too much of a distraction, right? It makes the camera jump around too. And this is just yellowish color. There we go. Wow, now that really wipes out the inside light. Light on my face is gone. What happened? What happened? Why did that disappear? Come on, go back. Go back. Go back, will ya? I want it switched back. Why does my face look so dark? Come on, switch back. The remote quit working. Maybe it's my batteries. think my remote died. But never fear. I got remote number 2. Right? Go red. Why isn't it doing anything? I'm going to put you on pause. Don't go anywhere. I'm watching you. Why does my face look so dark when that's on white? But when it's on colors, my face looks better. It's because the camera's adjusting the lighting. Very interesting. Okay, I'm back. I'm at 5 minutes and 52 seconds. The live streaming counter's zeros. The recording counter is at 6 minutes and 2 seconds. CPU usage 0.1%. 60 frames per second. Normally with webcam, unless it's a high-end one, those only get like my Logitech in the living room. That's 30 frames a second, as long as you're not moving around. 60 frames a second is a much better quality, I think, much clearer. I watched the video just a little bit from yesterday just to see how the lighting was coming out. I noticed I kept looking over here. So I'm going to try to stare at the camera because that's where you're at. You're through the camera, through the lawnmower man. It's like Tron. I think the lawnmower man came before Tron, right? Because it was the lawnmower man who ended up in the electronic circuits first. And there should be a video or a movie that says Tron meets the lawnmower man. Because if you remember, when the lawnmower man goes into the system, they try to shut him down, but spoiler alert, he ends up bringing all of the phones across the face of the earth all at the same time because he's embedded in all the servers all over the earth. Isn't that interesting? I hear something going on outside. I'm going to switch to camera mode. Hold on. Don't touch anything. Or maybe you'd like to go with me. You want to go with me? I hear something outside. Let's switch. Switch to this one. There we go. Switch to camera mode. Camera mode on. I don't have to display any passwords, right? Not that I couldn't change them. I only have 7, 1, 2, 3, 6. I have 7 cameras set up on this. I heard something outside. What was it? It's from this camera. You know, the raccoon didn't show up yesterday. And I was surprised because I took a bag of garbage out to my garbage can. Look at my weeds. My weeds need mowing. There's a dry cistern, a cistern out here in the yard, my neighbor told me, which is like a buried barrel with rocks in it that was meant to drain something. And one of these days I'm going to start digging there and see what's down there. Maybe it's like somebody's bones or something, right? Maybe the lady that lived here had some kids that she dispatched and she buried them in the front yard. And that's why we have... What was that? Did you guys hear that? Maybe that's why we have these anomalies, the temperature, because it's like 10 degrees cooler in this room right now. Can you see my breath? No? Maybe there's people buried out there. What do you think? One of these days. I'll have to pray on it for God to lead me in the direction that He wants me to go. If He wants me to reveal so that those souls can rest in peace, God will take me there and I'll start digging. Even though I feel like I need to start digging in the backyard for some reason, out behind the pole barn. They used to burn trash back there, people that lived here, because I found like a bunch of old metal springs and all sorts of weird stuff. And it was buried just under the surface of the ground. And it could go back to when, before we had trash pickup here, because this house was built in 82. In 87, 88, I think it wasn't until about 89 or 90 that the county started billing people on their taxes for trash pickup. But until then, if you wanted your trash picked up, you had to pay a private company to come out to your house and pick up your trash. So a lot of people, myself included, had a fire barrel in the backyard. And I would take our garbage out there with some lighter fluid, and I'd set it on fire. And everything burns. Glass melts, cans melt. And what didn't melt, like aerosol cans and steel cans, is I would crush them down into nothing, and then once a month I would bury what wouldn't burn in the ground. It really was easier to just dig a hole and throw the trash down in it, and then bury the hole and stomp it down. I'm sure back where we used to live, there's like some depressions in the ground where our trash is buried. But yeah, we would burn our trash because we didn't want to pay the $8 a week or $10 a month or whatever it was to have the garbage truck come out to our property. So it looks like the raccoons didn't eat the cat food today. I went to empty a bag of trash in the trash bin yesterday. When I opened it, something had actually crawled inside of the trash bin. It's one of those big heavy bins with the lid on it. It crawled in there, ripped the bag open. There was only one bag at the bottom. This thing's huge, and it tore the bag open looking for food, and somehow managed to crawl out of there, to crawl out of that garbage can. So, like I was supposed to, right at the time I'm going to bed, it should have been like a 2-minute thing, and now all of a sudden I had to go out and empty the bin, rebag all the trash, blah, 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 so on and so forth. What was that? Did you guys hear that? I'm going to be sitting here one day and something's going to come flying past my head. And you're going to be like, what was that? Did you see that? Flew past Dad's head. I heard somebody out there. No, they can probably hear my voice. There's nothing going on. I probably should put a camera out in front of the Virgin Mary, just looking at her in the front of the house. I would really like to have one out in the yard looking toward the house. That's what I would really like. Maybe I'll do that. I'll put like a box out in the yard. Make it look like a base for a fountain or something. And on the house side of the box, it'll have an opening for the camera. And these are PoE cameras, which means I only have to run Cat 5e cable. No power, no data, nothing. It all runs on this tiny little cable. And then I could have like a view of just the house. Or if I needed 2 cameras to split it up. Alright, let's get back out of this view. XV1. This is called the XV1 view. I got way too much shine over here. Let me see if I can switch one of these to red. Right? About this one over here. What? Oh, that's the pink. Switched it to pink. I think that's red. Red? Why doesn't it come out too red? Maybe I should move it closer to the pillow. What do you think? Alright, give me a second. Let me move that light. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch your mouse, your keyboard, or your phone. Oh well, that's good enough. I need to get another one of those round $8 fixtures from Lowe's. And it's just that little running around makes me out of breath. The because it has a bigger metal reflector on it than the other one. The other one is like an old clip-on lamp for a dormitory. So maybe I should do that. One of these days, I'll let Goo, you just don't lick your private parts, Goo. Let me see if I can zoom in on Goo. I probably could. Let's see. Let's zoom in on the Goo. Telephoto. Going to telephoto. Focus, you. Yeah, it's trying. It's trying to focus. Right. It's trying to focus on Goo. Let me get a little telephoto. A little more telephoto, please. Little bit more toward Goo. What would life be without the animals, right? We'd be so bored. It's like having kids. I couldn't imagine what life would be like if you didn't have children. And I did know some people that I worked with that never had children or found themselves 50 and older with no kids. What do you do? Who's gonna be your healthcare surrogate when your parents pass away? And time is no more. You need someone to help care for you, right? Keep your eyes on the camera. I just try to keep Goo in it because he's part of the show. Not a lot going on today. It's Tuesday. It's been a week since I had that shot, and how much better I feel. How's everybody else doing? Anybody got the flu yet? Or the RSV? If you had your flu, COVID, RSV shot, your immune system would be so taxed that you couldn't even catch a common cold, probably. As long as you don't get the shingles shot. Because that's a bear. The second one's a bear. I just had to find out for myself. I can't just go by what other people told me. I'm like, oh, it can't be that bad. People just exaggerate. Like when St. Bernadette was dying and she was in this great pain from tuberculosis of the bone. And she says, oh no, Bishop, I haven't suffered enough. I know how people that are ill exaggerate. But she kept just pushing it off and pushing it off as not being that bad, and just endured it. I guess for the sake of what she was praying for and things like that. That's why she was a saint, I guess, right? Not because she scratched in the dirt and brought forth a spring from the ground. And if you get a chance, go to, is it Lourdes? Yeah, Lourdes. Lourdes, France, where Our Lady of Lourdes appeared to Bernadette. Nobody else saw her, and told her to drink of the spring and wash there. When she couldn't find the spring, she dug into the ground and looked like a pig. And right after she was escorted away, the water erupted from the ground. True story. I'm not making it up. There were witnesses. Witnesses that saw people healed, where one person was born without eyes and there were just smooth skin covering where their eyes should be. And after they were dipped in the water, as you were watching it, eyes were slowly appearing, and the baby ended up with eyes. Isn't that interesting? I'm not making it up. It's for real. It reminds me of the Matrix. When I think of Jesus turning water into wine, calming the sea, raising the dead, things like that, making those who can't hear. It's just like the Matrix. It's like there's this whole other supreme being who's controlling everything, and we call him God. And as technology advances, we'll probably get a better understanding of God. Isn't it interesting how all these UFOs that are coming to light now, and they're showing these orbs and tic tacs and things? Are you guys keeping track of this? The powers that be are releasing that information. Up until now, they were keeping it secret. And the question is, why now? Why are they putting that information out there? And the bottom line is, they're preparing us. They're preparing us for some great revelation that's going to be disclosed in the coming years. And it gives us an idea. It keeps us wondering. We don't think they're going to hurt us because we're just seeing these tic tacs and orbs flying around. You know, that one Navy pilot said he saw something under the surface of the water. He said it looked like a cross and it was bubbling up. And there was this tic tac over the top of it, just kind of shooting around at every different angle. This is a Navy pilot. You watch some of the interviews with that guy, and he's the one that said it just kind of zoomed off. He's told his wingman he was going to fly down and check it out. And when he did, it kind of tilted up like it was looking at him, and then came up to meet him, and then I guess zipped past him. And almost instantly it ended up 60 miles behind him, back where all this first started. True, the stuff is all true, and the government's releasing it for, I'm always suspicious of this stuff. It's like, why now? Why are they releasing this stuff? I think that these things we're seeing are from a sort of life that's been here all along. And because of our advancement in technology, it's only going to become more and more obvious when we see more and more of these things that they're here. And that they're preparing us for the shock of knowing that we've never been alone on Earth. They've been here all along. It's like a whole nother type of life, like woolly mammoths. What if there's woolly mammoths still alive in like underground caves in the Antarctic or in the polar regions? We just don't know. So yeah, all these things, I keep thinking that they've been here. That's why you see them scratched on the sides of caves from thousands of years ago, and flying saucer looking things in the hieroglyphics. It's because they've always been here, everybody. But just like us, God would have made them as well as he made us. And it's just that maybe he put them in charge of caring for the earth. Because there is another story that said back in the 50s, when tensions were high during the Cold War, that both in Russia and in the United States, they were having these anomalies where aircraft, some sort of strange craft, was appearing over these missile silos. And when they did, the missile silos would go offline. And it didn't just happen here, it happened in Soviet Union too. And what that leads me to believe is that these things live here and have all along, and that they're just as concerned as we are about destroying this planet. Because if we evaporate the sky with nuclear explosions, they too will suffer. So they're trying to come out and lead us down the pathway of peace and to the next level of human development. We're getting ready to advance to the next level. Humans are almost ready. And when we do, there'll be peace. There'll be a boom of technology beyond our wildest imaginations. And people will stop fighting, and nuclear weapons will become useless, so they'll have to be destroyed. And we'll learn about magnetic propulsion, how to travel many, many times faster than the speed of light. And they'll share that technology little by little as we progress. But the world will be at peace. It makes you wonder if it'll be the Antichrist, because the Bible says the Antichrist will be a person who brings peace to the earth. And eventually, once he does that, he'll start saying, okay, now that we're at peace, we're going to If you want to buy or sell anything, you got to have this mark. And we're going to implant this chip in you, or you have to have a tattoo on your head or on your hand or something. And people call that the mark of the beast. That maybe that's where it's leading to. If you run along the lines of Book of Revelation. Or maybe we're just getting ready to advance to the next level. Humankind. You know, when human souls, the human body dies, the soul goes somewhere. You know, the laws of physics dictate that energy cannot just disappear. It must be transformed to some other matter or shape or form or something. So maybe these souls have been going to what we call heaven. And it turns out it's here. Heaven begins on earth because it is on earth. Hell's probably here too. Those are the people working in the coal mines in the core of the earth. They're the souls of the condemned are the ones that provide heat that generates the central core of the earth. The souls of the unjust. So let's make sure we're among the righteous, right? We don't have to be perfect. We just have to make sure that we try. You know, I think about all the days that I used to curse and carry on in the military. I never did take God's name in vain, maybe once or twice in my entire life. And every time I would do that, I would feel conscience. I would feel remorse. Because I know from the time I was very young that it was wrong to take God's name in vain. And when I would hear my mother say it when I was growing up, I knew it was wrong and it bothered me. My father used it occasionally, but very rarely. But it bothers me. But even the people that do that, like my mother, God will forgive her. As long as she returns to Him with a contrite heart, which she did. Her heart, broke before she passed away. I am sure. Of course, she had that heart surgery too at the Miami Heart Institute. Uncle Joey had his in 2014 at South Florida Hospital in Orlando. That's a big place, let me tell you. So it's just a matter of time before these things reveal themselves to us and humankind is transformed. We evolve into the next level. Does that make sense? So stay tuned, everybody. More on this to follow. The more God reveals to me. If He doesn't take me right away because He's like, no, you're talking too much, Jim. Tone it down a bit. We don't want people to become too aware that we're here. Let me show you what I have here. This is a cross that your mother and I had when we were married. It's got a nail sticking in it on this side because the little pin fell out. But this crucifix is one we got when we were married. Is that interesting? I still got it somehow. Poor Jesus is coming loose on it. So this is important. Those old pictures you see online of our house, the old trailer and so forth, this will be in it. This is it. See, Jesus' feet are loose. I got to get a pin or something to put in there. Actually, his hand's coming loose. The other one's coming loose too. But this is interesting. It's on my workbench here. Don't ask me how these things stay around after all these decades. How I can keep all those pictures and videos from 2003. So 20 years ago, I still have pictures and videos on hard drives that I pass around from computer to computer to make sure I don't lose them when the computer crashes. And that's all it takes is one time for a computer to crash to lose everything. And somehow I have to believe that it's God that allows that stuff to survive. And God will make sure you get a copy of it too, everybody. So don't worry. That's unless a tornado comes and takes my entire house away. But Uncle Joey's computer, I think, has copies of everything on it, the one in the living room. I got to set up a network attached storage in the shed or something so it can be off site. But it's just too humid in Florida to put any type of electronics outside. Guess I could put a window unit in the utility room, right? Because there's no windows in there. And just insulate it and make it into a IT room. That's all I got today, everyone. Let's all get ready. Pay attention to the news, especially when it comes to unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs they call it, because it's happening more and more. There was a Navy guy on the news saying that it happens all the time. Let me see, is this the recycler coming by? It sure is. The recycling truck's coming by. It's on the other side of the street. Normally they come by on Monday, but because of the holiday, they're here on Tuesday. So that means Friday's trash will be picked up Saturday. Hopefully I can remember, right? Thanks for spending time with me, everyone. You know, when I sit here, and I've said it before, and talk, I feel like I'm talking to you. People from the future. People from today and the future. And makes me feel at home knowing that I can talk to you. And I can look at you through the camera like the Matrix, like Tron, and like the Lawnmower Man. Watch the Lawnmower Man. That's an interesting old movie. James Bond is in it. And I'll go through the lens. Tron. What's the other one? Oh, RoboCop. Where they take the brain and they put it in like a machine. And when RoboCop tears it out, it's like this brain in a jar with like the spinal cord still attached to it, and he smashes it on the ground. You guys remember that? We're getting to that. Remember how I said 100 years ago stuff that were in science fiction, all of that's come true. You know, all this stuff will come true when we evolve to that next level. I love you guys. Again, thanks for spending time with me. Gugu says hi. No, he's sleeping. Bongo's resting because she's been up since 1 in the morning. And this is like 3/4 of my day is over with by this time. This would be like 5 o'clock in the evening for you guys. 11 o'clock in the morning for me. Because I get up so early. There's something that compels me. I think that I'd be more comfortable just sitting around being lazy, sleeping in. A lot of old people used to watch Johnny Carson, stay up till 11 at night and watch Johnny Carson, The Late Show. Not me. That's like 2 hours before I get up, right? At 1 in the morning. Thanks again. Please take care of yourselves. Remember that I love you, that God loves you. Let's keep an open mind for when humanity evolves to the next level, that it's one that is controlled and manipulated by God himself and not by the deceitful one, the Antichrist. Bring us to the truth, dear Lord, and always keep us in your care. Guard us as the apple of your eye, and hide us under the shade of your almighty wings. And watch over them girls. I'm thinking about you. I pray for you at the rosary every morning. I love you. May we be reasonably happy in this life, supremely happy forever in the next. Bye, you guys. Bye, you guys. Why is this not working so loud anymore? Testing 1, 2, 3. What is going on? My audio.